For this video, I'm going to discuss early specialisation. Parents believe that giving their child as much training or practice in a specific sport gives them more chance of reaching the top. This comes from Ericsson, who stated that in order to reach excellence, 10,000 hours of deliberate practice is required. Findings from Gulich are that there is 1,500 world-class German athletes. Furthermore, early specialisation generated early success and associated with less senior achievement. World-class athletes often characterised by lots of training and commitment to other sports when younger. The volume of training during early diversification often is similar to early specialisation, just across more activities. Also, a number of different pathways that athletes did take. Also, some athletes did specialise early and made it to the top. An example of this would be Joe Calzaghe. Gulich stated, "It is an accepted premise that outstanding athletes are successful amongst others because of the type and amount of their training. There are disadvantages when it comes to early specialisation. Specialising too early in sports has shown to contribute to one-dimensional sport participants, athletic deficiencies, overuse injuries and burnout. 10,000 hours of deliberate practice said to be required to reach excellence. It is also a domain specific and focuses on improvement of movement, and it is also non-inherently motivating, as well as measured, tested and evaluated. Counterproductive to begin deliberate practice in a specific activity till individuals have developed physical literacy. Younger athletes undertrain as well as overcompete. Training in early years focuses on outcomes such as winning rather than process, such as optimal training. Adult competition is superimposed on younger athletes, especially in boxing. Adult training programs are superimposed on younger athletes. Coach education does tend to skim over the growth, development and maturation of young people. Chronological age influences coaching rather than biological age. Furthermore, poor training cannot be corrected between the ages of 6 to 16 years old. The top of the pyramid is only as strong as the base. Gulich states, federation and umbrella organisations are all concerned with the question, which characteristics of youth training and competitions to recommend to their members. Also, Collins and McNamara states, whilst there are very few biopsycho arguments in favour of early specialisation, the realities of the child's self-esteem and the politico-economic situation must also be considered. In professional sports, such as boxing, early specialisation is becoming normalised. Starting elite training early can indeed lead to early success, despite the fact that research shown by two sports medicine organisations issuing position statements about the risk this represents to sustained careers. All champions talk of early successful experience in sport, and in boxing particularly in the amateurs, with competing for England and Team GB, whether it's a Commonwealth Games or Olympic Games. This is by an encouraging early environment or person. In this case for Joe Calzaghe, it is being encouraged by a person. His father Enzo Calzaghe. They lived in a small town in Wales, Newbridge, with a population of 6,000. For a decade and 21 fights, he held the WBO super middleweight title with a remarkable record of 46 wins, 32 knockouts and no losses. He retired undefeated. His specialisation in boxing was early, and after 12 years of his bullying he suffered, he won his first world title. His early specialisation in boxing was led by him being bullied at the age of 13 years old. Ward, Hodges, Starks and Williams found that elite soccer players did not specialise until after age 16. Furthermore, Cote and colleagues found a variable sport involvement during early stages of development in elite rowing and tennis, as well as in field hockey, netball and basketball players. There is also evidence that athletes who had a diverse sport background were not at a disadvantage compared to athletes who specialised early. In a recent study of expert decision makers from the sports of basketball, netball, and field hockey, Baker et al. Indicated that participation in other relevant activities during early phases of development augmented the physical and cognitive skills necessary in their primary sport. Understanding of the mechanisms by which diversification influences skill development is limited. However, it is linked to research examining transfers of learning and the effects of cross-training. Thorndike suggested that identical elements between tasks were transferable. Erickson et al. States that deliberate practice involves activities that are well defined, repetitive, and appropriate level. He also mentions that there is opportunities for external feedback as well as error detection and correction. Concerted effort to improve performance and not inherently enjoyable. Deliberate practice theory might be right in the amount of training required to excel into elite sports. However, this could be achieved by developing both sport-specific skills and transferable mental, social, physical, technical, tactical skills through participation in other sports. It is also potentially easier to reach a higher amount of hours when variation in training is provided. Cote mentions that deliberate play includes diversity and freedom to try new and alternative approaches, as well as modified rules, and that it is focused on enjoyment. That the deliberate play helps develop fundamental skills and promotes diversity in movement and skill acquisition. An interesting finding from Erickson et al. Study was that the performers that made it into elite performance practiced play in solitude, and a long perspective on their participation in the activity was a significant factor from differing them from the sub-elites. Deliberate play during the sampling years in adolescence provides development both physiological, motor and cognitive skills that might transfer well into their eventually chosen elite sport.